Welcome to Beyond Bitewings, the business side of dentistry, brought to you by Edwards & Associates PC. Join us as we discuss how to build your dental practice, optimize your income, and plan for your future. This podcast is distributed with the understanding that Edwards & Associates PC is not rendering legal, accounting, or professional advice. Listeners should consult with their business advisors before acting on any of the information that is shared. At Edwards & Associates PC, our business is the business of dentistry. For help or more information, visit our website at enassociates.com. Hello and welcome to part 2 of our previous episode, the biggest challenges dentists are facing today. And I know I left you guys on a cliffhanger, but I was told that's the best way to do it. So we have Erin again in our studio.
Yes, hello. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So in our last episode, we stopped at, the competition from corporate dental organizations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the market looking for talented team members to bring on, how do you compete with the P folks? How do you compete with the DSOs, right? Because these folks, they have the economies of scale on their side, right?
Yes.
They get all these group rates, cheaper rates that, let's say, a single practice owner does not have access to. So again, this goes back to what we were talking about. You have to be creative. So you need to be able to offer something that, let's say, a DSO will not be able to offer to them. Now you have to understand most DSOs are run by numbers people, right?
Yeah.
So they're quantitative people. Now, as a business owner, especially if you just have 1 or 2 locations, focus more on the qualitative side, because that is something that will give you an edge. I mean, think about, why do some people go to a convenience store as opposed to a Walmart when they clearly know the convenience store is charging them double for eggs or bread that Walmart would? It's for that customer care, right?
Yeah.
So focusing on that part, the relationship dentistry side, train your staff members better. Do yourself a favor and maybe attend some classes, or hire a coach that will help you speak better so you can connect better with your patients. And trust me on this, that goes a long way.
Yeah. Well, we talked about this when it came to like hiring, right? And understanding that culture. And I think this is where you could get an advantage of their numbers, right? Maybe they have their mission statement, and I'm doing air quotes as I say this, right? And their vision, and they're checking boxes.
Right.
But how can you do that better? How can you be very specific about that? Like, not just the relationship with the patients, but the relationship with your staff. Maybe they'll take less pay to enjoy their job versus they're going to feel just like a number 2 in a lot of these DSOs. Right. So there's still an advantage, but you've got to find those ways of what can you do? Like you said, what's the qualitative side versus just a numbers game where you can really stand out and offer that great experience where, again, we're in a day and age where it's not suck it up and deal with it and go to your job anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It is about finding jobs we truly enjoy and feel part of a company. And I just think there's opportunity there to really make your staff feel that they're part of something bigger than just, clocking in and out every day.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure even the team members or the employees, they do not want to be part of a culture like that.
No. Maybe they do if it's more money. People don't care, but you got to find the right fit. It's all about the right fit.
That's also true. Yeah. Now I'm trying to think of what would be some specific qualitative advice that we can give to them. Well, one thing that I can think of is your front desk person probably maintains a patient profile on the management software. So anytime a patient walks in, especially an ongoing patient, if let's say they've shared something in their last visit, like, hey, I'm in the process of buying a house, teach or train your front desk person to jot that down under the notes section of the profile. So they can bring it up. Hey, how was your closing? Or how did that go?
Yeah.
Or, hey, I heard, you were going to fly to Miami for your vacation. How was your vacation? Little things like that.
Yes.
The human element goes a long way.
Yep. Do you watch The Bear on Hulu?
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Okay. So it's a restaurant for those that watch it.
Right.
It's a fantastic show. I love a show, but they talked about that in a restaurant, like those high end restaurants. They are listening to your conversation. Like there's an example where they overheard somebody say, I've not had pizza in Chicago because it's based out of Chicago.
Mhm.
And they have this person that runs down the street and gets them this pizza and they make it in a gourmet way. But there is nothing mentioned by chance. The experience is everything. And I love like just thinking of that, and not to say that you have to run down and get somebody a pizza, but it's those little things that you're listening for and sending a thank you note, or just like when they know you're thinking about them, those little tiny things go a very long way. And that's what those high-end restaurants are. It's those little tiny details that don't go overlooked.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, those little tiny details with a huge impact.
Yeah.
Focus on those.
Yeah.
They're fairly easy. You don't really have to spend a penny.
No.
Right? You can use your existing resources, existing human resources. Just train them a little bit, tell them, and then do it.
Yeah. I would say another one is offering, like we talked about it in a previous episode, just like even the Google reviews, and do the things that help you, but help your staff too. Can you offer like fun bonuses where, hey, when we get so many staff, when we get so many reviews, here's another bonus, or like part of a end of year bonus type thing where you're incentivizing them where it's fun. Again, not everybody wants to own their own business, but it is our human desire to be part of something.
Right.
And how can you bring them in there? Again, DSO, maybe it's a numbers game, but how do you make them feel like they're part of growing this company, part of, that relationship with customer or patients, and just thinking of those ways, it just little things go so far.
Right. Absolutely. And that's the thing, I'm thinking about DSOs. They do this thing where they see how much money is being made per hour. Yeah. And they're monitoring that on a regular basis. If that number falls just a little bit, they go into a panic and they want to figure out what happened.
Yeah.
And because the main producer, they're not really selling retail goods. They're selling services. And those services are coming from your team members. They go to them.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's a volume thing for them.
It's process. Yeah.
Right. And that doesn't have to be you.
Right.
So that's one quick, easy way to set that distinction.
Yep.
Now, speaking of relationship dentistry, let's focus a little more on the patient side. What has changed now from what it used to be? Well, I will tell you this. Dentistry, it just isn't about routine patient care and preventing dental problems from becoming severe. It's not just that anymore, right? And because of that, there's increased patient expectations and, of course, the demand for cosmetic procedures. Because think about it, how a person's teeth look can affect their career, social, and romantic life. And overall confidence, wouldn't you say?
Oh, it's huge. Yeah.
So, I actually dug through and pulled out some stats. Like the Fortune Business Insights, right? The global dental market size, they're saying will be valued at $65.23 billion by 2030. And they're saying that this growth is attributed to an increase in the number of patients seeking dental services, as well as the launch of new dental products that dentists can use. The American Dental Association projects a 10.4% growth rate in the number of dentists per capita between 2020 and 2040, suggesting the demand for dental services will continue to increase. Now, the other thing is, it's not just your routine care.
Right.
It's the cosmetic aspect, right? Now, when I say cosmetic dentistry, I'm talking about procedures like teeth whitening, veneers, aligner system, Invisalign, and they're also growing in popularity. I mean, social media has a lot to do with it, I'm not going to lie, right? They're seeing their friends, they're seeing what's trending, they see the influencers on those content, and they're like, oh, how do I look like that? Or how do I get teeth that look like that? An image, is a big thing these days. I mean, it's part of your branding.
100%.
So now, even though cosmetic dentistry is elective procedure, sometimes it can be used for restorative procedures such as porcelain crowns, tooth veneers, and dental implants, especially if it's for things like accidents and birth defects.
Yeah.
So, wow. Okay. This part. Okay. I need to actually talk about this one. So when you understand that in this market, it's not just the routine care, right? You also have to focus on cosmetic dentistry. You have to ask yourself, do I set a boundary at just dentistry or do I go a little further? You may already have talked to a few peers that have incorporated, let's say, Botox treatments as part of the cosmetic procedure.
It's crazy to me, but yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? But if you think about it, you're like, okay, I'm going there to, look my best.
Right. Yeah.
Why does it have to stop at my teeth?
Yeah.
Why can it not be my skin or other aspects of my aesthetics?
Right.
Right. So expanding your services from just dentistry to other aesthetics, facial aesthetics, to be more specific. So know that a lot of your peers are already doing this. So you're not going to be a one-off dental practice that's going to offer this. It's just you staying on par with the trend.
Absolutely.
And what's available out there in the market. So thinking of that as well. So there's a need, there's a want.
Yeah.
How do I fulfill it?
Right.
Right? That's how you become a good business owner. Adapting, understanding the need, understanding the want, and then doing things to address it.
And I think too, like I always give this example about Invisalign, so I won't say exactly who, but a relative of mine is always broke, always broke, but somehow managed to find money for Invisalign.
Yep.
After they already had braces, but there was just like one little tooth that they didn't like. And so found the money for, like, people will find money for this stuff.
Yeah.
And I would venture to bet they would probably even put a cleaning on hold to help with the payment of Invisalign. But it's one of those things, like, people are, and to your point, I don't think a lot of people even looked at teeth whiteners until social media.
Right.
And so they're there. But it does help with the care too. Like, I know, your teeth are going to be cleaner if they're straight, right? It's just natural. There's not going to be stuff getting stuck in the.
That's right.
So it may seem vain, but it does all fit in that total care of dental.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So even though a part of me is like, oh, wow, because I have seen the change, right? I've seen numbers of a certain practice, offering just certain services. And that same practice, the numbers declining. And when I have a talk with them, they're like, oh, wait, you're still doing things the way you used to 20 years ago? Well, we need to change that. And then that brings me to the next point is certain procedures require certain new equipment, right?
Yeah.
So assessing that the current set of equipment that you have, is that up to par with the treatment that is available in your profession?
Yeah.
Right? Your competitors may have specific equipment pieces. Let's say, the integration of digital tools such as a CAD/CAM system, right? Or 3D printing.
Right.
Or a digital impression scanner, right? That gives them an edge.
Yeah.
So it's not just that they're staying current with the technology that's out there, but at the same time, believe it or not, some of these toys actually allow you to be more cost effective.
Yeah. It's a growth opportunity, right? So some of those things you have to spend more money, but you can do services faster, more inexpensively, offer more things, charge more. I mean, there's just a lot of it can be, yes, there's an upfront cost, but the opportunity cost is greater by not doing it. That's
absolutely right. So that's the thing. To make money, you have to spend money, right? So
and you may lose somebody if they're going, well, I want Invisalign, right? But I'll just go to a dentist who offers it, so I don't have to go to 3 different places to get it done. So I'll just, I'll go to the person across the street.
Right. And then we also need to address the learning curve of it. Maybe your staff that's been with you for so long, they're not used to how to operate these new equipment. So there's going to be that need for continuous education, training, along with maybe phase into implementation of these new technologies can definitely help with the transition.
And didn't Smile Direct Club just go under like it was a big deal, right? So look you've got all this opportunity now. People aren't going online. They got to go somewhere.
That's right. Absolutely. And then how do you make sure that you are purchasing the right equipment?
Yeah.
Partner up with a good distribution vendor. And we actually have an episode on that as well.
We got to link all these episodes that we're talking about. I'll do that in the show notes. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Talk to them. And, there are certain pointers that we mentioned in that specific episode. Look out for those. And then, find a great partner, and then make sure that you guys are working as a team to make sure your practice is current with the technology that is needed, not just because you want new toys, but it actually makes sense for you.
Yeah.
All right. The next point I'll come to, and this is going to be the last point before we do a part 3 to this series. Okay. And this one's an important one, which is patient communication and engagement. Right. You have to understand, how are you making money?
Yeah.
By selling your services. And depending on the quality of your services, you can make sure if that patient is going to be, and I hate to use this term, but it is a business, is that patient going to be an ongoing customer?
Right.
Right. From a business perspective only, right? How do you make sure your customer is happy and they keep coming to you?
Yeah.
So you have to focus on customer care, customer service, and it starts with communication and engagement. So maybe set as if you're a business owner with, let's say, a couple of front desk people, right? Maybe one hygienist, a couple of dental assistants. Now, right off the bat, if you've hired excellent team members with great people skills, you don't have to worry about it. But let's say you're one of those few that were stuck with whoever you could find because you have to run a business. You may need to train them. So maybe set a script.
Yes.
Mention some pointers during your daily huddles. And I'm a big proponent of daily huddles. I know some people say it once a week, but no, it helps. You know, in Japan, they actually do it every morning as a way to charge each other up.
Yeah.
You know, they do these like loud claps and they cheer each other on before they start working. I thought that was so amazing when I first saw that. So do a huddle, and then of course you'll hear from your other team members in what areas your certain team members can improve upon. So give them that feedback in a positive manner, right? Not criticism, but just pass on that feedback and see if they're taking in that feedback to make a change. And that will also help you with the performance evaluation. So going back to setting a system. So write a script or tell them, hey, you know, next time have them read the profile notes on the software before addressing them. And then having a huge smile. A smile goes a long way. You know, that engagement piece, locking eyes, smiling when talking, little things like that. Now, on the technology side as well. So it's not just, you know, your front desk person who's interacting with the patients. These days, we live in the internet era.
Yeah.
So oftentimes, I hate to say it, the first point of contact is actually with your website.
100%. Yeah.
Not your receptionist or your front desk person. So we also need to pay attention to the website. So what are some of the factors we need to pay attention to? Number one, is it user-friendly? Right? Is the interface fairly easy?
Yeah.
Is it cluttered or simple? What about the colors?
Yeah.
You may want to actually talk to your marketing company if you have one, what colors to use.
Yeah.
Certain colors stimulate certain senses within us. The other thing is, if you're setting a brand, a lot of times your brand will utilize certain specific colors.
Yeah.
So making sure those colors are incorporated so that you have one common theme, right? So from the website to when they first enter through the doors of your practice, they see those same colors. Appointment setting, scheduling, that's also another thing. I hear a lot about this, right, from my clients where they have something implemented on their website of online scheduling, but for some reason, it's not synced well with the actual system.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so they'll set up an appointment online, and then the very next day they'll get a call. If they're lucky, they'll get a call next day saying, oh, I'm sorry, that slot is already taken, or the doctor's not going to be here. Can we reschedule you? Now, that's in a best case scenario. A lot of times they don't even get a call until it's like a day before.
Yeah.
So paying attention to things like that.
Yeah.
Right? So keeping your client, customer, patient, whatever you want to call them, in the forefront.
Yeah.
Right? So you're in the business of providing a service and then making money from it. So the amount of money you are trying to make as a business owner will directly correlate to the kind and the quality of service that you're going to provide.
Well, and I think too, I mean, it's business 101. It costs less to keep a customer than it does to obtain a new customer. I think one of the important things as a business owner is, like for me at my dentist, I have a better relationship with my hygienist than I do my dentist. I'm much close. She knows my family. She knows me. Yeah, my dentist may know it, but my dentist is coming through 5 minutes where I'm spending 30 minutes with her. I think when you noticed things happening that aren't to your standards or are issues with your front desk staff, with the hygiene, address them immediately. Or don't say, well, it could be worse. Or, yeah, she's got this quality, we don't love it, but it's just Sharon, right? I didn't use Karen. It's very close. But it's like, you've got to be careful of those, because those tiny things can become huge problems quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And so address it. And if that person is not willing to take that coaching,
Mm-hmm.
there's a problem.
Oh,
it's not worth it to have them there. I mean, anytime I've had employees where there's trust broken or where there's something wrong, if they're not willing to have those conversations about it, or, it's very hard to ever get that fixed. And you as a business owner, it's hard. Those conversations are difficult to have. Firing people is not a great experience. But if they're going to cost you massive amounts of money or cause problems in your whatever, you got to let those people go.
Right. And again, because of the shared value, keeping your patient in the forefront.
Exactly.
Right? So it's nothing personal.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say it's business. It's for the best interest of your patient.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're not keeping team members that are following the same values, if they're not stepping up to a standard that you've already set, you're actually doing a disservice to your patient.
Absolutely.
Right. You're not being fair to them.
Yeah.
So it's in your best interest to do that. Again, nothing personal. It's just what you need to do to keep that culture intact.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Erin, for being on this episode. And again, we have a few more points to cover in our next episode. So I look forward to hearing from you again, Erin.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Anytime. Thank you. Thanks for listening today. Be sure to subscribe to Beyond Bitewings on your favorite podcast platform. For more information, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, or reach out to us on our website. You can also shoot us an email at info@eandassociates.com.